Hi everyone, thank you very much for joining me today. Today's reading is going to be what would they like to confess, and this is a request from Nikita, so we're going to have a little look to see what they would like to confess. I've got 3 piles as usual: pile number 1 pink, pile number 2 blue, and pile number 3 purple. So if you want to take your choice, then we'll get going. Okay, right then, pile number 1. Situation from where you stand is the Ace of Cups. So you're coming across as somebody who has fallen in love in a really sort of sweet, sentimental, overpowering and beautiful way. It's just openness, it's clarity with regards to your emotions and how you feel and who you feel it for. You're just quite happy for this relationship to keep moving, I think. If not, you may want to go to another pile. But that's the feeling I'm getting. They, on the other hand, are coming across as if they are about to be slaughtered. And I have no idea why. It's like impending doom. So I'm thinking complicated here. They're coming across as the 9 of Swords. It's like somebody with a wave about little turtle on the beach. The wave is dark and looming and about to crash on them. And either it's too overwhelming for them, either they're afraid of relationships or they've had past hurting relationships, or it's complicated because there's a real physical pull in this pile, but an inability to move quickly with it or an inability to show it. Their thoughts are the hidden inner strength, which to me is very much like the strength card of somebody who's trying to back down, squash down and deny their, what I would say, a physical pull towards you. And I'll tell you why as it goes a bit further on, why this is a very strong feeling. I am getting the feeling of either complicated or somebody who has hard aspects to Pluto in their chart. Like a Pluto square Venus, that type of feeling of somebody who finds feelings overwhelming. Their feelings are closed off. Their feelings are closed off, as in it's going to... These 2 cards make me think of an Iron Man. They make me think of somebody who, to show their feelings towards you or to express themselves, is almost some horrendous, tumultuous effect on them in some way, and I don't know why. Let me keep going, because this is quite intense for what I would say. You're coming across as sweet and open, and this person, as if there's ignited something in them that is making them feel like Nosferatu. I don't know why. What they're trying to hide is the devil. This could be a multitude of things. The devil card to me, the first off, which everybody always says, is a sexual pull, it's obsession, it's somebody who's highly sex, it's somebody who could have a sex addiction. Or it could be somebody who is trying to pay off their mortgage, trying to be committed in a relationship, or trying to do something very mundane, very financial, and then you come along, sweet and innocent and light, and it's like, woomph. But it's commitment. This is a feeling of somebody who's not happy in themselves, and it's got to be something to do with sexuality, because the Strength card here has got a lot... I know it's not the Strength card, but the Strength card here has got what I would say a lot of rumbling going on in the pants, and trying to look like a gentleman, and they're doing a really good job of it. But there's fear here in this spread with regards to what their feelings towards you. So if they were to confess to me, I've only got this far so far, has a feeling of fear. Don't know why. What are you doing to them? Because you've even got like slaughtered bunnies in the next one. Why are they trying to hide it? The 4 of Swords. It's somebody who is either not well or trying to lie low. Somebody who's not ready. Somebody who's resting. This this man or this woman could be in between relationships and it could be too soon, and then maybe that's where the fear factor's coming in. This person could have health problems, and I'm thinking of sexual problems as well. Because the Devil card with the Four of Swords, somebody who's in bed, somebody who's not well, possibly. There's lots of different scenarios, so they won't all apply. And the Devil card is sexual. So it's somebody who could have physical sexual problems, or, yeah, that's what I don't know. That's what I'm thinking at the moment. There are lots of different scenarios. Let me just weed my way through, and then we'll try and sum it up and see if it makes sense to you. I'm counting now. I can't count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Their intentions are sweet. Their intentions are to communicate with you in what I would say, like, in a very sweet and open and honest way, and hide everything that they're feeling. The Eight of Wands is communication that's open, it's clear, it's exciting, and it's expressive. And the Justice card with all these doves is, I've got a feeling of gentleness and peace. This person feels that you deserve the Ace of Cups from them, and they're struggling with something inside themselves which has got something to do with complications, commitments, sexuality. And they're blocking off from you because they don't want you to see it. And what they're trying to do is, I mean, these cards here are beautiful. They're like somebody who actually functions in the outside world and does a very good job of it. These cards here are somebody that suffers internally. Resting, sexuality, commitments, mortgages, anything that ties them down in some way and makes them feel less than, with the Four of Pentacles. And then you come across all love and light, and they're trying to meet you on that level, but inside there's turmoil. There's got to be turmoil, and this man or this woman wants to appear as a gentleman or a gentlewoman to you because they don't want you to snout out exactly what's going on inside them. And they're lying low and they're waiting. And I can't deny the fact these two cards together make me think of sexual problems. And that could be, I don't want to go down the track of trying to name them all. But, you know, you can probably do that yourself. You could do that yourself. I don't want to put thoughts into your head and say, have you got this? Or is this what happens when this happens? You know, I think I'll leave that to you. It's a feeling of being in a relationship that is sweet and open, almost feeling uncomfortable to them because of possibly childhood issues or past sexual experiences or commitments. Their feelings are, if I cut off, if I lie low, then everything will be fine, but I just don't want to lose contact, because this is why it sort of moves over to what I would say very clear, very forward thinking, forward moving, and relationship orientated cards at the end, which are very, very smooth and friendly and lovely. And then all this in the middle with regard to their feelings and probably what they want to confess are dark cards and restrictive cards. I wonder whether your person sees you as somebody who's very giving, and whether they see themselves as somebody who can't actually give a lot. And I don't know whether it feels to me like difficult childhood issues or sexuality issues or complications or commitments elsewhere. And this person, I get the feeling here, is struggling with themselves, doesn't want you to see it and wants you to keep in contact, but just can't show you what they're struggling with. It could be just what I would say like a sex addiction or some feeling of being overwhelmed sexually. The Devil card is still looking at me there. And you've got two goats here. I mean, Capricorn is screaming out of this one. And Capricorns like to feel control. They like to feel as if everything is cool and organised and everything's moving forward. But there's that feeling here of also it's as if it's been tipped and unbalanced in some way, because this poor devil goat is, and I've said it before, got a rabid look on its face of somebody who has lost control. So I don't know whether it's just with regards to their sexual feelings towards you are more intense than they're used to, so they're trying to block them off, and then coming across as being really sweet and open and fun-loving and joking and laughing with you, and you've fallen for this person. And it's a little bit more than they can cope with. To me, it's screaming of a Pluto square, and I don't know whether, and it feels more innately than to do with synastry. It's got something, a feeling here of this person's defense reaction is to cut off and just think, I can't cope with that. Let me pull some extra cards out for you here, because I'm so kind. Let me just put some extra cards out for you. Let's have a look. Okay, if you want this relationship to develop, it's got to basically, you've got to play the game of them coming across as normal, even if you know there's something going on under the surface, of them coming across as being very caring and loving, because that's who they are, but they don't want to rush it. You've got the Page of Pentacles, you've got the Queen of Pentacles, and these are slow movers, and there's growth here from the Page to the Queen. The King of Cups has got the third eye here. It's understanding emotions, understand that this person may be struggling or may have difficulty in relationships. It's got nothing to do with you, but just to be prepared to be open and loving and play the slow game with this person, so that you bring them out of themselves, or else you might not get anywhere. I don't know if you want to get anywhere or you're just looking for a past relationship, but this is what it feels like. Somebody who has hang-ups in love or hang-ups with their sexuality, who doesn't want you to see them, who wants to come across as being very amicable, very free-flowing, very easygoing. And they can do that because they are all that, but there's bits that are suffering inside this person. So what they would actually like to confess to you is, I am struggling with myself. It's got nothing to do with you. Please treat me with, not respect is not the word I'm looking for, but please treat me with kindness, and be loving and open with me, and then this may flourish into something more if that's what you want. But it's going to be time, and it's going to be openness and clarity. And once again, as I always say, without expectations. This is somebody who feels like has a hard soul, has had a rough, has been dealt rough cards to me. And this person needs to be nurtured in some way and to be loved, but not to the point, you're coming across as very innocent, the Ace of Cups, not to the point that you lose yourself in this person, because you might not get there. And these cards do make me think it's going to be movement. Only if you can be loving with this person. That's their confession, is that's what they need. But, you know, I don't ever want to say you're coming across as very sweet. And this person, if they don't get there, you know, just know that you're going to carry on being sweet, because that's who you are, and that's not what you want back. And that's probably what the message of this is, and their confession is, you can help this person. They would confess that you can help me by... Do you know what it makes me feel of going to a relationship and knowing what you can give rather than what you can get? And this, to me, would be... They wouldn't confess this because they may not understand that, but this is what you need to do. I'm thinking, I don't often think of songs because my memory is absolutely awful, but I've just had a little flash of the Nine Inch Nails song. It's Help Me, I'm Falling. I can't get my feet off the ground. See, this is why I don't do it. I honestly have no memory for anything. Yeah, I don't know. Nine Inch Nails. If you want to look up that song, don't look up all the lyrics and don't put it on in front of your grandma. But that is worth looking up with regards to this person, because their confession is, I'm suffering, treat me kindly. Okay, pile number 1, I'm going to finish there. I hope that makes sense. Thank you for watching. Bye. Hi there, pile number 2. What would they like to confess? Let's have a look. Hi Hi there, pile number 2. I don't know whether you're going to get this sort of edited because the SD card just flipped off just as I started talking, so your pile might just appear magically without being dealt. I did do that, honestly. Right, what would they like to confess? I was just saying before it cut off, there was a feeling here of you making each other feel good and this person having a feeling of control. I will go through it bit by bit to explain. You're coming across the situation from where you stand is the Six of Wands. And this card is slightly different from the normal Six of Wands and the normal Rider-Waite. It has a feeling of working together. So I don't know whether you work together or whether you've spent some time together. And you've either been part of a good team or just got on really well. And these bees making the hive together give me a feeling of the Six of Wands is a victory, feeling good about yourself, feeling as if you've achieved something. But with this card in particular, there's a feeling of working well together or a connection that just works. You feel very similar. You all work together, or just two of you work together to get where you want to be. Now, from where they stand, it's coming across as being more controlled. You have got keys in here, which normally... Keys in the Lenormand card always make me think of a connection, like a soul connection. So this Hierophant here is what I would see somebody who recognises. This is strange, aren't they? Because I was just about to start spouting off the normal thing about the Hierophant, but when you start looking at the cards, you get different messages. This, to me, is a person who has an inner understanding of a connection, because you've got the peacock eyes here. Inner knowing, you've got the keys here, which made me think of the Lenormand keys, which is normally like a soul connection or something that is recognised as being a little bit deeper than surface level. But the Hierophant here often makes me think of control. And the reason you have got, there's no reason in this, their thoughts are coming across as the hidden inner strength, which to me, very similar, I think it's exactly the same place in pile number 1. Has that feeling of somebody who's trying to control their thoughts and their passions. Somebody, again, who feels uncomfortable with revealing themselves and their inner musings in some way. And their feelings are caution. Okay, this to me, just with looking at this pile here, makes me think of somebody who is, what I would say, I'm going to use this word with glee, aroused. Aroused with regard, this is how they feel towards you, but I think that the connection is sweet and it's almost been like a work connection or a connection that is very surface level, and their feelings are running away with them and there's a feeling of caution. I don't know whether there's some sort of commitment elsewhere. This is so similar to pile number 1. Commitment elsewhere, something that they can't do, or just inner fear. I don't know yet because I haven't looked at the bottom pile. I'm just reading my way through it and flicking backwards and forwards. What they're hiding from you is bizarre, because the situation from where they stand is control, but I would say an inner acknowledgement of a connection. And the Fool is the little hamster thing. What is that? Is that a rat? The Fool is let's call a hamster throwing itself off the cliff with abandonment. It's just excitement and I just want to jump in and I don't care about the consequences. And here you've got somebody who does care about the consequences, who feels it, knows it, but feels a connection. You're coming across as very much like pile number 1 has been quite innocent. They're restricting themselves. So I'm thinking, and I've only looked at these first 5 cards, of a feeling of somebody who is apprehensive and restricting themselves with regards to a relationship, where you're coming across as easy. No. No, I didn't mean that. You're coming across as easy breezy. I didn't mean like that. I just meant you're coming across as childlike and enjoying it on the surface level, and this person is rumbling underneath the surface and trying to bat down their, what I would say, strong feelings, but what they want to do is just basically chuck everything in and run off. This person feels like an adult who wants to go back to being a teenager, or a teenager who just wants to rebel. Why are they hiding it? They're hiding their passion for you, which I'm assuming is passion because it's something restricted here that feels dangerous. And then the inner strength card to me makes me think of, the strength card always makes me think of what I would say animal instincts being pushed down, and this person, as in pile 1, appearing like a gentle lady or gentleman. And why are they trying to hide it, the King of Wands? Because they are passionate. This is somebody who may have in the past got themselves into trouble with regards to following their genitals, I'm taking my jumper off, rather than just basically following their common sense, and hence this here, because where they're hiding it is the Knight of Wands. The Knight of Wands is forward moving, passionate, doesn't like to think too much. This person doesn't want to think, they just want action. They want it to be exciting, they want it to be, they want their life to turn upside down, but they're living in this control with fear and batting down basic instincts and physicality in some way, or a physical pull, and you're coming across as just buzzing around and getting on with it. So they haven't picked up that you're interested in them, which I'm assuming you are because you're watching this, but I don't think they've picked this up. Their intentions are to do nothing. They are going to appear really po-faced next time you meet them, but no, below the surface, the best possible outcome is there's going to be manipulation behind the scenes. This is the type of person, when you meet them, you get actually jack shit from them. You get absolutely nothing. Just a po-face, straight-laced. It makes me think of somebody who's like a power talking, like business talking, and I was going to say something then, it doesn't really apply. Somebody who's in control of themselves and likes to look like they are, because I wonder whether they have lost control in the past. This to me speaks of somebody who probably is very passionate. If you're getting the King of Wands, Knight of Wands next to 4, what they're hiding and why they hide it, it's somebody who's impulsive, and probably sexually impulsive with the Knight of Wands, and they're trying to not muck it up this time. And this control here is huge. You've got the Hierophant, you've got the Strength card here, and you've got the Emperor. I mean, this is like, you can see this one here, it's like a cat who's really a wolf. They're trying not to let out their wolfy bits, when actually that's all they want to do. And they want to do it in what I would say a very quick, impulsive and passionate way with these cards down here. But what they're actually going to do is they're going to have a very strategic plan to come towards you, I guess, with the 8 of Pentacles here. Because this is like weaving. The best possible outcome to this is very similar to pile number 1. I think, I can't remember now because it seemed ages ago, but a plodding approach and a cunning approach to get towards you. This is somebody who you might actually find that if it's a work connection, you find out next week that you're on their team and you didn't have any inclination that you would possibly be on their team. Or somebody who drives past your workplace and you think, well, how do they know I was? It's that type of feeling. Somebody who's thinking how to act but not be impulsive about it. So their confession to you would be, if you drugged them or gave them huge amounts of alcohol, would be, I'm scared of my own inner nature and it's beginning to rumble with regards to my feelings towards you, and I don't know if it's reciprocated because you're coming out really sweet and light, and I'm going to use control, self-control, not control with you, because it feels dangerous to me, and this could be complications elsewhere. I don't know, I'm not picking it up, but the caution card could be anything with complications. And the 8 of Pentacles is, I'm going to come towards you slowly, and you're not going to know, you're not going to know which direction I'm coming from. It's that type of feeling. Pile 1 and pile 2, I think in the last few spreads that I've done, always seem to be really similar. This person doesn't know how you feel. They feel a connection, but with this Hierophant card here, it feels spiritual. There's a sort of a spiritual control here with the keys and the peacock eye and the Hierophant card as a whole. It's almost as if you could have been brought up into their life to feel a connection, but not to act like their old selves. This person could be the type of person who loses themselves in different substances, or just is somebody who's very impulsive and just enjoys life and has got themselves into a couple of pickles. And it doesn't have to be like substances or alcohol, or it doesn't have to be sex. It could be just somebody who has travelled abroad lots, somebody who pushes the boundaries and found they've got no money and had to basically, phone mum and dad and say, can you give me 20 quid or whatever it is. That type of just impulsive behaviour that sometimes after you've done it 3 or 4 times, it can be like, I'm not going to help you next time. And so this person's trying to grow up and use control and put that face on, like, look at me, I'm in control. Because you just appear to be somebody that they work with, or they have some connection with, or that you make them feel like you don't understand how they're feeling. Possibly. But anyway, before I finish, they would also confess that what I've decided to do with regards to trying to be mature is to manipulate the whole circumstances so I can get closer to you. So that is what they would say. Okay, pile number 2. I'm going to finish there. I hope that made sense to you. And I wonder whether you do actually come across it as a more easy, in a nice way. Okay, pile number 2. I'm going to leave you there. Thank you for joining me today. I hope to see you again. Bye. Hi, pile number 3. I just said Heil. Well, that's not good, is it? What would they like to confess? This is quite an unusual pile because it's so different from the other 2 piles. So I'm just going to go straight into it and just say what I can see straight away. From where you stand, there's a feeling of no movement. I think you've got the 4 of Swords. Makes me think that there's a lot of, well, I would say pulling back and not moving forward, of resting, perhaps a little communication, or no communication, or just something that feels like everything is retracted in some way. The situation from where they stand is the Sun, which makes me think that they think they are kingpin, everything's fine, I'm really warm, I'm really giving, I don't know what they're on about. That type of thing. This person, if you are feeling cut out of this situation, this relationship, this person possibly has no idea. And their thoughts are that these 2 cards together, the Sun and this, I can't say it, somebody told me how to say it and I can't remember. It's the ink blot test that you get when you go to the psychiatrist or the psychologist and you interpret it to be whatever you want. Next, the Sun, this makes me think of possibilities like the Magician, somebody who has everything in their hands with regards to this relationship to move it forward. So at the moment, I'm not feeling a confession. I'm getting the feeling of somebody who's, it makes me think of fire. It makes me think of 2 people that are quite different, where one's actually hurt, very watery possibly, or air, and is insulted and pulled back and quiet, and then somebody who has no idea and thinks that their relationship is going well. And this person has what I would say, very much like pile number 2, an impulsive nature, and is looking to see what's going to happen next. There's something here to do with impulsivity and maybe feeling that they're out of control with it, because you've got the hidden strength here, and what they want to hide is the fall. The fall is basically jumping into anything with 2 feet first. Is that right? And why do they want to hide that? Because they want to take their time and build things slowly. This to me speaks of fire. This speaks to me of a fiery nature in some way, shape or form, where you are wondering what's going on. You're probably more sensitive, and this person is impulsive. They probably have a high sex drive. They probably have a confidence to think that this situation can be pulled in any way they want it. They want it to be pulled. They're normally somebody that dives into situations. I wonder whether they actually, with you coming across as the 4 of Swords and the 7 of Wands being their lesson in this relationship, can sort of understand that they may need to pull back their nature. And their intentions are really sweet. Their intentions are to connect with you on a much more gentle level, on a less arrogant level, and with what I would say with more compassion. There's a sense of fairness. With regards to the outcome, there's a sense of like, this makes me feel of somebody fiery who is not very in touch with being receptive and understanding other people, but somebody who's very sweet-natured and likes to be part of a group. And you've almost pulled back because you're not getting what you want out of it, possibly because you're more sensitive. And what they would at the moment be confessing, if you basically plied them with vodka, what they would be confessing is, I know my nature, I can't help it very easily. I'm somebody who's probably an A-type personality, who likes to win, who likes life to move. I'm quite passionate, I'm quite impulsive. But with you, I can understand that I've hurt you, or I can understand that I've been slightly distant from you. And I want to start to try and be a little bit more measured in my approach. And that would be their confession, because the Page of Cups here is sweetness, it's understanding. I mean, the Page of Cups could talk to this rabbit who basically looks like it doesn't want to come out of a hole. And Justice card here is like it's balance, it's a peace offering with this card. So this makes me think of what I would guess as an argument or a splitting up, or a relationship which is pulled apart slightly, with them not really knowing why, and being very straightforward. It makes me think of my parents. Dad's very Sagittarius, he was Capricorn mainly, but Sagittarius, and Mum was very Pluto. And he'd be off trotting around, really happy, chatting, had no inkling what on earth he'd done to my mum, who had interpreted everything as a death-defying something or other. It was really, there's a lot of drama there, and this is what it feels like. Somebody who is passionate, impulsive, open, giving, and thinks that and this card here, which is basically making anything out of nothing, is a magician feeling of them feeling like they're the bee's knees. They could do what they want, not in an arrogant way, but with the sun here, a more childlike way. But it's a feeling of confessing that they would like to rein themselves in slightly if they could. I don't know if that's possible, to come to you on a more sweeter, gentle, more encompassing sort of, that's a strange word, encompassing nature, where they actually include your feelings as well as just basically excuse me. I don't know what that was. Driving their own feelings forward and their own intentions forward. Okay, so let me do some more cards. If you got pile number 2, you got a rough treatment, because I didn't give you extra cards. I don't even know why. This makes me feel, your person makes me feel like, I'm going to use different names here because I don't want to get into trouble, but somebody I know in school, as in my daughter's friend, who is, if you spend a lot of time with them, they all went like camping with her, and she was so too much, but she's very open, very loving, and even if you hurt it, she's like a puppy. Even if the kids don't get on with her or they hurt her, she just bounces back. But that is the beauty of her, is the fact that she's probably very optimistic and very sweet-natured, but can be too much at times. And this is the feeling I'm getting from your person. And their confession would be, I know that I'm that. I know that I'm like a mad puppy. And I know that I can be a bit intense sometimes, but I don't want to ruin our relationship because I can feel that you've actually pulled away a bit. Okay, I would say that the best outcome of this relationship is to understand, if it does ring true in any way, that your natures are quite different, and sometimes you feel a bit hurt by the way that they don't actually soften with you or communicate with you, even though they are going to try. It's going to be something that maybe, I'm going to put this in a positive way, like a healing journey for you to go back and forward. It's never going to end. There's always going to be this person trying to pull back their base nature, which is always going to spring forth because it's quite intense and quite warm and quite expansive. And this feeling of somebody who wants to please you, and come to you and be more on an equal level. But these cards here still make me think that this game is going to continue. If you want to be with this person, it's always going to be that way. And I wonder whether sometimes we meet people in our lives to bring bits out of ourselves that we don't have in there. Like, say, if you don't have any fire in your chart, or whether you haven't expressed it, or whether you've got an aspected planets in fire signs, or your sun or your Mars some way is unaspected, then this person will feel uncomfortable, or there's a Chiron aspect or something in your synastry. This person will feel uncomfortable, but it's almost as if you can change to meet them halfway too, and then that's how you both grow. Because there's lots of, this card here is conflict, batting back and forward, trying to work as part of a team, and defensiveness. And this, I just get the feeling that your person wants to come closer to you. So, okay, right, I'm going to do, what would they like to confess? I would say that they understand that they may have hurt you, or that you may have feel left out, and they're trying. They would say, I'm trying really hard with my inner nature to try and meet you on a more gentle, more connected level, and I'm working on it. The Seven of Wands, I'm working on it. I'm working to be less impulsive. I'm working to be, I'm going to say arrogant here, but with the sun there, it feels nice. It does feel nice, and there's this person has an aura of anything being possible. And I didn't mean to hurt you would be their confession. And these differences are always going to be here, but they would want you to know that it's possible to work this out if you both meet each other halfway. They're going to be more gentle and more connected and, more intuitive to your needs. And it's almost as if you need to almost forgive. I'm guessing this from your Four of Swords here. Right, pile number 3. I'm going to finish there. I hope that makes sense. And I hope I haven't insulted anybody with firing. But to me, I quite like this energy of somebody who's quite childlike and somebody who's quite giving. Because I see it in so many people. And it breaks my heart sometimes, because they end up bashing themselves against brick walls and not knowing what's hit them. And we're all such a mixture. And sometimes we can get so set in our ways and think that the way that we are and the way that we're formed, the way that we function in the world is the only way. Because you basically sit with it all day, every day. And somebody else comes along who's different, and you think, well, that's not me, that's not my tribe. But it could be. You could just, even if you just come up like 10-20% to meet them on the bits that you find revolting in them, you would become a little bit more whole, I suppose. And this person feels to me as if they're trying to meet you on a more sensitive level. Inclusive and sensitive. Okay, right, I'm going to go. Thank you for joining me, and I hope to see you again. Bye.